Are the EOS tokens worthless? Short answer, no. But I'm going to explain to you guys exactly why. I want to clear up a few things. I constantly am getting, I'm seeing some of the same comments by people, whether it's on my videos or other videos or people, even other YouTube channels or in forums, people saying, well, I read the FAQs and what I'm seeing there, it says that the EOS tokens are worthless. Why would I want to buy them? Look, even the projects admitting the tokens are worthless. So I'm going to explain to you guys all of that stuff. I'm going to clear all this up so that hopefully we don't hear this criticism anymore after people watch this video, unless people are just being kind of haters on the project, which always will exist, and that is okay. So all right, so I'm over here on the EOS website, and I want to show you guys the actual point in question that people are discussing. So if you click on the FAQs right here, we'll open up this page. You got questions like, what is the EOS.io software? Who is building it? Will it be released under open source? And all these different things. Okay, so what features, uses, or attributes do EOS tokens have? Can the EOS tokens be used on a blockchain adopting the EOS.io software? So Block 1 is building the EOS.io software, but it will not configure and or launch any public blockchain platform adopting the open source EOS.io software, the EOS platform. Any launch of an EOS platform will occur by members of the community unrelated to Block 1. Third parties launching the EOS platform may delete, modify, or supplement the EOS.io software prior to, during launch of the EOS platform. Okay. EOS tokens do not have any rights, uses, purposes, functionalities, or features expressed or limited, including without limitation any purpose, attributes, functionalities, or features on the EOS platform. Okay. So what is happening right now? We are in the middle of, for EOS, a token distribution, right? They don't call it an ICO typically. Like I said, typically they call it a token distribution, and they really are doing this very intelligently. Okay, let me tell you guys why. So rule number one, not rule number one, just number one. When it comes to it, okay, we are in this weird time in the entire blockchain cryptocurrency space where you have a lot of people really unsure about legislation and what could or could not transpire. So especially a group like Block 1. And who is Block 1? Block 1 is people like Dan Larimer, people like Brendan Bloomer, people like Ian Grigg, all these different people. And countless other people that there's not enough time to name here who are contributing huge to the project. So basically with that, like someone like Dan, right? Dan still lives generally most of the time in the United States as far as I know. And so with him living there, he would fall under U.S. jurisdiction, right? Block 1 is not a U.S.-based company, but regardless, it will still interact with people and be used by people who are in the United States. So all this stuff, all of these things people are very concerned about here, this is having intelligent people on your team who understand, okay, blockchains are supposed to be decentralized, especially something like EOS. And we don't want to have, let's say, one point of failure where if they know, okay, this is the CEO of EOS, just you take him down and the whole thing can get shut down and then they can be held liable for trying to sell securities and all this stuff. What they're writing here, this stuff right here, this is lawyer jargon for let's separate, technically on paper, let's separate EOS is this entity and Block 1 is a separate entity. So Block 1 is creating EOS. And the reason why is that think about it from their perspective. They're thinking of it, and I hear Dan use this analogy all the time. There's a difference between creating the New York Stock Exchange, EOS, and then creating, well, not EOS, but let's say an exchange that people use or something people are using. By creating it and operating it versus being the person who created the software that the exchange runs on. So think of EOS like the software that the New York Stock Exchange runs on. That person who created that has no liability post creating it. What happens by people who are operating the network? This is intelligent. This is not a money grab. This is not them wanting to then create it and just go hang out with their money and ride on their yachts. This is being very smart about what they're saying legally so that in the event of there being some crazy legislation or something happens, they can't, basically, so people can't come after them and then tear EOS down for all of us. They're completely separating themselves from it. That's number one. Number two, you should want that. To be honest with you guys, if you guys are really in this for at least some of the same reasons I'm in this, where you would like to see things become more decentralized, you would like to see things become community owned, and you would like to see people actually, earn what their value is that they bring to the world, then you should not want like these major entities who are like these overlords, geniuses that create these projects, and then they're sitting there kind of in their throne calling all the shots and doing things. That's not to say, you know, people like Dan and Block One aren't gonna be holding a lot of the EOS tokens, and then also their votes are gonna be swaying the decisions that happen, because that's fine. They're just a member of the community at that point. But you don't want some overlord, because then it's centralized. If you talk about Facebook, you talk about Zuckerberg, that guy's making the decisions. It's not, you know, some programmer in Indonesia who has a great idea and wants to contribute. That shit has to go through a lot of different people before it can even be improved and implemented. So what is this doing, right? So when you do that, this is super intelligent, because basically the whole thing, all this stuff, it's about communities. It's about network effects. So if you look at Steemit and you look at BitShares, those were launched by the communities, right? So they were like, it basically given out, hey, Steemit community, whoever's ready and feels passionate about this project, create it, run it, and launch it. Like, isn't that what we want? Like, why do we want these decentralized sources to be, or these decentralized projects and corporations that we're all going to be using, or these dApps, to be dependent on the creator? Like, that's not good, because if the creator were to die or get sick or mentally ill or anything that could happen, the whole project in a sense could go down with them. Like, that's the whole point of what we're doing by having things like DACs, decentralized autonomous communities, corporations, whatever word you want to put there, is that they're supposed to run without the creator. They're supposed to run based on the community, and anybody who wants to contribute can do so. So EOS is doing this, and the reason it says this with the tokens, like, technically the tokens you're buying have no use on the platform. That is 100% correct. The tokens you're buying have zero use on the platform. But the tokens you're buying, if somebody were to launch the EOS blockchain, which they will most likely, because there's so much incentive to do so, then your tokens, let's say you have 100 EOS tokens, when there's all these snapshots that take place, whoever wants to use the distribution list to then launch the EOS blockchain that we all find is the legit one, and we end up running with it, they're going to use the distribution list, and those tokens go to people. Like, if you have 100 EOS tokens over here and the coin launches, that's why you're registering your Ethereum wallet, so then you can swap those out for the real EOS coins. Those are extremely different than these EOS tokens. These EOS tokens you're holding right now are ERC20. They're Ethereum-based tokens. And part of this is strategic in doing so, because they're accepting, like I said, Ethereum for the token distribution. And I talked about that in my video, why EOS may be the best investment of our lifetime. If you haven't seen it, watch that. I go more into some of the behind-the-scene moves that Block One's making post and during this token distribution with the funds that they're raising, and how I think they're going to position EOS as probably, in my opinion, the biggest project in the world. But this is genius, right? So all of this surface level shit of, I read the FAQs and it says it's worthless. Like, think harder. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to think logically about these things, and you can't just read that and go, guess it means they're worthless. Like, that's such a poor way to think. You got to look deeper in these things and realize it's about, like, separating them from it, so they're not the one point of failure, so the government or whoever ends up coming knocking at some point in the future, if that happens, can't just come and kick in Dan's door and then the whole thing shuts down. Because if so, we don't have a decentralized community. We have a centralized community that's dependent upon one person. And that's not good. We don't want that. We want something that is separate from the creator. And you look at things like Dan's past creations, Steemit and BitShares, they've done nothing but grow since he left, being behind the reins. That's not a knock on him. That means he actually did what was good. He did what he set out to do, which was create a decentralized community and let it run. And ideally, you want these to have the tools and the governance and the rules and the consensus to be able to grow on their own and keep growing post the creator leaving, right? Or whoever is actually sort of, in charge during the developmental stages. So all in all, guys, are EOS tokens worthless? No. Well, yes, sort of, right? But they won't be, because you get the real EOS coins for them, and those have tremendous value, right? We've talked about some of the reasons why those have value. You'll be able to have access to basically unlimited bandwidth for most people's needs. You'll be able to stake them. You'll be able to rent them out to other dApps and projects who need to use them. There's going to be a million other things that come out in the developments once we hit the mainnet launch in June. An infinite more exciting things that are going to come out as far as use cases for the tokens. That's just a few, and that is tremendously more valuable than I would say just about every other token that's out there. I mean, name. There's not too many other tokens that have that many use cases, and that is just the very beginning of what is going to be possible for EOS and the EOS coins. And Also, and I don't mean this like disrespectful to people, but it's like the people who are saying these tokens are useless, it's like, think about it, okay? Like, I'm assuming if you're going to go and write that on a YouTube comment or in a Telegram group, you're probably not a billionaire, right? So why am I saying a billionaire? So you look at things like Binance, okay, or Exodus, those two, the exchange and then the wallet. So Binance, they're supporting the EOS mainnet launch, so you can actually swap your tokens on Binance for the real ones. So if you think these tokens are worthless, why would Binance offer that service? You don't think that they've vetted this to know that it's not worthless, and they're just they're doing all this work to allow people to swap over tokens for something that's just worthless and it's a big scam? Do you really think that that's the case? Like, that's number one. Number two, do you guys also really think that these VCs would be pouring money into a commitment to give to dApp creators, dApp developers, and all these other people who want to build amazing projects on top of EOS? You think that over $1 billion of VC money would find its way to EOS, and these people who are committing $1 billion or plus of VC money haven't done their due diligence? You think these people are just jumping in like, well, it looks good to me, shoot, I mean, they have a website, right? I mean, you can buy it. Like, these people are very smart, and they don't put their money in places where they have even a slight chance of losing it. They're trying to play a rigged game in a lot of ways. So these people are putting their money in things that they've done their due diligence on. And you think $1 billion is coming to this project to commit to give to people all because the tokens are worthless and have no use? That would be, for lack of a better word, just stupid. And like, if you think that, you got to think deeper on this stuff. You got to go a little bit deeper. You got to look, listen to Dan's interviews, right? Like, listen to him just type in Dan Larimer interview and watch a few of them. Listen to him speak about it. Yes, when he's asked certain questions, he goes into his legal answer mode because they don't want to get sued, right? Like, all these projects, like, whenever you raise a lot of money, you get a target on your back, and everyone starts to try and sue people because they want in on that money. And these guys are playing this many levels ahead of a lot of people. They're trying to steer clear of all legal issues that could take this down because they know how valuable this is going to be for all of us when it launches, for those who decide to use it. So, thank you if you're still here. Please like the video. Please subscribe. I hope this helped out. I wanted to answer this question because I've had so many people I've seen that have said it, and also people asking, what is the true value of some of the EOS tokens, and are they worthless? How's all this going to work? So make sure you register your tokens, whether it's here on the website or some of the third-party options that people do that. Or you're actually not registering your tokens, you're registering your wallet. Just to make that clear for people. You're basically, when you're registering, you're telling them, hey, this wallet has EOS in it, so you can definitely take a snapshot of it so that I can get my corresponding amount in my new wallet. That's all you're doing. But other than that, guys, like I said, please, like the video, subscribe, comment below, tell me your thoughts. I'm sure some of you guys will disagree with me. That's fine. We're talking about facts here only when it comes to videos on the channel. So I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.